This is 1% lidocaine without epinephrine to locally anesthetize the toe. This is the part that's going to hurt, okay?
Can I sit up?
No. Hold real still. Stick.
Keep your bottom, scooting your bottom over, Dad.
Burn. My normal day is starting in the clinic, and I see walk-in acute care patients, kids with colds, strep throat, ankle sprains. Then I usually see some of my own scheduled patients, which would include some OB patients, some obstetric patients. I typically also continue to see walk-in patients or acute care patients during the day. And then, usually by mid-morning, if not before, then I come down and I cover the emergency room. And I see all the patients that come into the emergency room during the day. So during the day when I'm down here in the emergency room, I usually see cardiac patients. I usually see patients that are sick with pneumonia or congestive heart failure or broken bones, a lot of lacerations, sick children, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Do you have any pain here?
Did not. No.
Nothing?
Yeah, she was asking
Okay.
for a female checkup thing, so I thought maybe you
Yeah,
Kleenex?
no,
Okay.
but I know Mom's tickled to death.
Oh, yeah.
So now, not only does she have ransom attachment, what, there you go.
Yeah.
Second.
There it is.
Let me get it.
There's the ingrown toenail.
Let me try to focus on
Okay.
it. Okay.
Very exciting, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Interesting.
There's the ingrown toenail. Here's what's left after the ingrown toenail is removed. I'm just going to trim the edge of that down just so it's not so sharp, okay?
Get you a blanket, okay?
So my least favorite part are the hours, because the emergency room is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never closes. So working nights and weekends and holidays and the long hours that you're away from your family is the hardest part. Sure. So what we're doing here is we're putting some stockinette on her. This protects the skin so that the casting material doesn't hurt her when, oh my gosh, when it's on her wrist. Okay. And then we'll be putting this casting material. Debbie loves pink, and so we will be using pink casting material today. This is fiberglass.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, this is fiberglass casting material. And actually, I will mold this cast after I get done getting all of the casting material put on her. Okay, so I think we've got her. And then what you do is you get it good and wet and you mold it into the shape that you want it to be in. And in her situation, her break is right here. And so we would try and mold this around her fracture so that it would prevent her fracture from moving at all, so that this can heal. Always making sure that her fingers can move freely and that they have good color. So that's a cast. So we're going to show you a scenario on how a patient would present in respiratory and cardiac arrest. So this is a patient that walked into the emergency room and said they had chest pain, and then they collapsed on our floor, and we've just now got them to the bed, And the nurses are starting to do their assessment, and we have put him on a monitor, and we found out that he is in VFib. So we have put the defibrillation pads on the patient, and the nurses are getting ready to start resuscitating the patient. So
Who's not breathing?
So now we're doing CPR on the patient, and Jim is bagging the patient because he's not breathing on his own.
No, 30.
Okay, let's do a pulse check on the patient. I don't feel a pulse. Continue CPR. And then another nurse will be getting some other equipment, and they will be giving him medications through his IV line to try and resuscitate him with epinephrine. Yes, as the
You need
PA
to
here
switch?
in the emergency room, I
When did they put the
oversee
fancy little handles on?
code situations like this where we would resuscitate a patient.
Switch.
Because this really so this guy's basically, he's died and we're trying to get him back.
He has died.
Okay.
This is a dead patient, and we are trying to resuscitate him by restarting his heart with CPR, medications, and respirations, because he's not breathing on his own and his heart's not beating on his own.
30.
Let's say it's been 2 minutes. We're going to check a pulse again on the patient. He's not breathing. I don't feel a pulse. I looked at the monitor.
Can
Yeah. And now it's been long enough that I'm going to go ahead and call the code so we can stop our resuscitative efforts. And we were not successful resuscitating him today. And I'm sorry. We don't have to code patients all that often, but we do see cardiac issues pretty frequently that can lead to cardiac arrest similar to this. We have coded a patient before for a much longer time than this. How long is the longest code we've ever ran? An hour?
Probably.
Probably an hour of doing that
Wow.
for an hour.
Take
It's
shifts
very
probably.
tiring.
Yeah, I'll
It's
bet.
very tiring.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a code. My favorite part is working in the emergency room. This is what I've always done. I worked at Stormont Vale in Topeka for 7 years before I came here. And so my favorite part is the adrenaline of the emergency room. Having a patient that comes in here that is very, very sick, that in a matter of minutes I can make them much better, and they can either leave here or be admitted to our hospital or transferred to another hospital with a much better prognosis because of something that we have been able to do to improve them here in the emergency room.